All right, bear with. Hello, hello. What's up?
Hello.
How are you? Hey guys, welcome to our Christmas special. This is the Calling the Forgotten Files. I am your host, Shannon Rogers, and your other host, Jennifer Lee. Hi.
Hello.
Christmas special, Silent Night, Deadly Night. We want to do something kind of creepy, something a little festive and creepy at least. This month went by way too fast. I can't believe it's already going to be Christmas this weekend. It's crazy.
Yeah, not only the month, but the entire year, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like it just zipped by.
It did zip by like way too fast. And it's so freaking cold outside right now. It dropped. It was like 44 this morning. And within an hour and a half, it was down to like, I think 13 or something crazy with a negative wind chill to -3. It's crazy. So last week we had Greg Bakken on, and we talked about ITC devices and connecting with spirit on spirit boxes and everything. It was a really cool conversation. So thank you again, Greg, for being with us. And tonight we're going to do things a little different. Hey, Casey, how are you? We're going to do things a little different tonight. We wanted to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to ask you guys to please share out. Share out. We're having a giveaway tonight. I don't know if you can hear that or not. So part of getting that giveaway is to share the podcast. The other part is inside this box here is a number between 1 and 100. And the person who comes closest without going over is going to win a 30-minute session with Jennifer Lee. And we'll do that drawing towards the end. Jennifer's amazing. She does really great at reading. She's really good. She really connects well. So anywho, we got some really creepy stuff for you tonight. And, Jennifer and I have not really talked to each other about our stories except for just a little hint of what's going on. So we're both in for a treat, I guess, and hope you guys enjoy. We've decided to have a little bit of wine with tonight as well. So this shall be interesting.
So we wrote stories. Oh,
yeah. We took, real actual events and actually wrote out the storyline and everything to go over with you guys. So I hope we can entertain you as much as we entertained ourselves doing so. Hey, Lauren. So, and afterwards, we're going to talk a lot about, because we don't want to just bring all this stuff up and just kind of leave it hanging there because, a lot of these things are done during, that are done during the holidays. People have breaking points. People have mental illness and are going through a lot, and they just slip and do really bad things. And, sometimes just some awareness and prevention can be really important. So we'll go over that towards the end. But, so Jen, you want to go first?
I thought you were going first.
Okay, because I really want to hear yours. But okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. So, all right.
So I guess we should say it is, Michael, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's Christmas.
Wine and creepy stories. Yeah. Yes. I put these face tattoos on. Go ahead.
So I just feel like we should preface them with they are true crime stories.
Yes.
And so we gathered some facts and then we wrote our stories. So we're just gonna like tell the stories and chat about them a little bit. Now, again, I know her story. I know what it is, but I haven't heard it. So, and she hasn't heard mine. So it'll be interesting.
We just know keynotes. So.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start this off. So, there was a lot of different stories that I was looking into, and one of them kind of really hit home with me. It's called the Ortega's Christmas Massacre. And on Christmas Eve in 2008 in Covina, California, which is a suburb of LA, there were 25 members of the Ortega family that were celebrating Christmas Eve together. And around 11:30 p.m., there was a knock at the door, and someone came to answer the door. And when they open the door, they see this man there dressed up in a Santa suit with a huge gift. And, and of course, there was an 8-year-old little girl. And when she saw that, she went running towards him. And when she did run towards him, the man with his hand that wasn't showing pulled out a handgun and shot the little girl in the face, which is completely horrific. And then after that, just opened random fire, on anyone that was in that home and just started shooting at random. But it didn't stop there. Right after that, he quickly unwrapped the present that he had brought. And, come to find out, it ended up being a homemade flamethrower. And so he proceeded to torch like the whole home, anyone that was there and anyone in his way, any in his range before, fleeing in a rental car. But I think we need to, let's go backwards for a second. Let's backtrack because I want to tell you a bit more about the storyline and the history. That man was 45-year-old Bruce Pardo. And he happened to be the newly ex-husband of 43-year-old Sylvia Ortega of the Ortega family. And Bruce and Sylvia had just married in January of 2006. So the marriage didn't last very long. I mean, obviously, 2008 was when the massacre happened. Bruce was an electrical engineer, and Sylvia, she only made $31,000 a year working, at a flower breeding company in California. For California, $31,000 is not a very substantial wage when you're comparing it to, an electrical engineer, I guess. So money had started to become an issue. And Bruce didn't want to support her 2 kids that came from a previous marriage, but he also had an issue with, opening up a joint account with her. And so, tension was really high. They were having a lot of problems. It just was not going good. But Sylvia's breaking point was discovering that Bruce had a secret 9-year-old son who had severe brain damage and was a quadriplegic. Because back in, I think, 2001, and when he was a lot younger, when he was under Bruce's care, he had fallen backwards into a pool. And, so it's just really sad. And the sad part is Bruce didn't have anything to do with him after that. And, through research and everything, I found out that even after he left and had nothing to do with his son, he was still claiming him on income taxes. And the mother, says that she never knew he was doing that. I'm like, I filed for all my kids. Don't know how that would even be a possibility. But so it just kind of building this story about him being basically a creep, just all together. I don't get good vibes on him, even if I didn't know what had actually happened. So in 2008, Sylvia filed for divorce. And then Bruce had lost his job during, a long divorce proceeding. And he was having trouble paying spousal support along, with all the other bills that were piling up. Switch pages. I don't have my glasses on, guys, so it's like I'm really having trouble, so I'm just trying to keynote here. Okay, so the divorce was finalized just 6 days before the massacre actually happened. Okay, so now back to Christmas Eve on 2008.
So just one sec. So I'm just curious about this.
Mm-hmm.
Before the divorce was final, before the massacre?
6 days. Just 6 days before the massacre, the divorce had became final.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets better though. So, okay, going back to Christmas Eve on 2008, there, several of the Ortega family was able to escape, and call 911. But 4 hours after the shooting and, the torching of the home, the police got a call from Pardo's brother's house, who lived like 40 miles away. And when they get there, Bruce Pardo had shot himself in the head. And the rental car was found like a block away with a lot more guns and ammo. The thing is he had wired, he was an electrical engineer. He had wired that vehicle to explode or go up in flames. And that is what it did. It actually burned out. And I had some pictures for you guys. And see, I'm still trying to learn how to do all this. Let me see if I can do it right now because the pictures are kind of important. I forgot to do that. See?
So he went in and he shot in the house, correct? And then he threw flamethrowers in the house and then blew up the vehicle as well?
Yes, he had a huge flamethrower. I'm going to pull that up and show you. Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. Okay. Let me see if y'all can see this. Okay, so can y'all see that right there?
No.
Okay, well, see, then that's it. For mine, it was a great idea.
You can see me. I can see you.
I just can't get that screen off my thing now. Are you serious? No, I'm being totally serious. I can't get that off my screen now. That is so funny.
So it's on your screen. Is that what you're saying? But
yeah, it's on my screen, so I can't see the actual podcast.
It's okay. We've had like weird electronic glitches since you and I started talking earlier. So.
Oh, Chrome tab. Let's try that. This is so weird. Sorry, guys. This is what I'm going to have to do to just try to get it off. Oh, how weird. It won't let me do it. Jen, can you remove me and I can add myself back in to maybe get it to stop?
She's still talking. You're still talking. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you see me?
No, my screen is completely covered up. This is great.
Gosh. Well, we can see you just fine. That's probably kind of awkward, but we can see you.
I don't like this, though. Okay, let me try to go back up with it. Sorry, y'all. I apologize. I was trying to work with this new thing, and it does not like me.
Hi, Casey. Yeah, we can see you there. There's Matthew. There's a couple of people on here that are showing as Facebook users, so I apologize. I don't know who you are, but I do see you there. Excuse me. So we were talking earlier. Did you fix it?
No, but I have a handy dandy thing that I'm going to do here. I'm going to just pull it up on my phone so I can just kind of see in the background. Can you take over the comments?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys, where was I until all this happened?
You were talking about the car.
Yes. Okay, so the vehicle. Okay, so what's interesting about the vehicle is he had it wired because he was an electrical engineer so that if it was tampered with, it would go up in flames. And it did. It actually burned it down. And so, that they just were unable to disarm it. But luckily, nobody was hurt in that process. So, okay, there were 9 victims, and I'm not going to count 10 because I'm not going to count him. There were 9 victims in the brutal attack. It was Sylvia, who was 43, both of her parents, Joseph, who was 80, Alicia, who was 70, and 2 of her brothers, along with their wives, her sister and her 17-year-old nephew. Now, luckily, the 8-year-old girl did survive her injuries. But the sad thing is some of the victims were initially listed as unaccounted for because their bodies were burned so bad that they couldn't even have immediate identification on them. They were pretty charred. And the thing is that the police believe that Pardo had been planning the murders for at least 6 months which was about the time that he had lost his job. So this was totally premeditated. It wasn't just something he got angry about. Once he lost his job, and was paying that spousal support and he couldn't pay it, he got very angry and made some really bad decisions. And then and it was said that he actually had planned on killing his own mother too, because she was supposed to be there, but she fell ill and she had to cancel at the last minute. So, because she was definitely intended for, him to be there. And the police also stated that he had planned to kill Sylvia's divorce attorney and flee the country to Canada. And so he planted a rental car, near their attorney's home. He just never made it there. And it is believed that Bruce, he took his own life due to the 3rd-degree burns that he, had gotten from the flamethrower. He got him so bad the Santa suit was actually melted to his body, and he would need medical care. And so, suicide, I guess, seemed like the better option than to surrender and being held accountable for his actions. Bruce Pardo, he had no criminal record, and he was also deemed as a quote unquote nice guy by most who knew him. That happens a lot, and I ask you to please, burn a candle this Christmas Eve, 14 years later for Sylvia, the Ortega family, and any others affected by this tragedy. A lot of really bad people, were once deemed a nice guy, and all it takes is the trigger. Literally, that's all it takes.
What I can't wrap my brain around is, where'd she go? What I can't wrap my brain around is people that go on these like sprees and then they kill themselves. I have such a hard time. I wonder, I hope she comes back, because I'm really curious if they ever found out a motive, if he had anything written. I would suspect that he would. So I don't know what's going on. So when Shannon and I were talking earlier, we kept having all kinds of glitches. My touch lamp was going on and off. So a bunch of stuff going on. So I did my story a little bit different. So until she comes on and we can talk about that again, I actually wrote mine. I wrote it in story form, and I did that for a reason. She's back. What happened?
I had to exit out. I was like, please say I did not end the whole show. Guys, sorry about that. I can't look at a black screen in front of I don't know what's going on. It was just weird, and I want to interact with you guys. So.
And you can see us now?
I can see everything now.
Cool.
I can
see
I
was talking about my story because I didn't know where you were, if you were going to come back.
I know. I was going, it only took a second, but I was really scared because I don't know what I'm doing with all this technology stuff. So it's like...
So what I was saying when you were gone is I have a hard time wrapping my brain around that.
Yes.
I have a hard time, wrapping my brain around the whole entire thing, but especially like these mass killings, why they go and do that and then they kill themselves. I don't understand. Yeah. I can't wrap my brain around the destruction.
I think that he really thought that he had a great exit plan. He didn't plan on torching himself. And they're like, he had such bad burns that, he had to seek medical care. There was no way around it, because that, when you get burns that bad, you have to get medical care.
Yeah. So that really wasn't his intention. Then it was to commit this horrible crime and then run off and live his life as if his family never existed, just wipe them all out.
Mm-hmm.
Except that he ended up torching himself. That's karma, right?
Yeah. But to shoot a little girl in the face like that, an 8-year-old little girl, it's just, and I'm so glad she's okay. But I didn't do any further research into how she was doing, except for that she was okay. I'm just glad that she's okay. So.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It is terrible. And you never know. So especially people that have been in abusive relationship, battered relationship, just really bad situations like that, just be really careful on your exit and, have a game plan always in tow, and, be real mindful and careful of someone else's mental states, and always seek that protection and, be aware.
So speaking of mental states, do you want to hear my story?
I want to hear your story.
Okay.
I do. I've been waiting for your story.
I was telling them before you came on that I actually wrote mine a little different. I actually wrote it in story form. And the reason that I did that was I couldn't find a whole lot about this case. I found bits and pieces, but I couldn't find a whole lot. And so, of course, the medium in me kind of popped in, right? And the psychic in me. And so in the story, some of the things that it's all factual, but some of the descriptive words and some of the things that I use in there just came from my intuition. And as I read the story, who knows, more might pop in. We just, I might start ad-libbing some more. So, but I'm going to start. And if you have any questions or whatever about it as I go along, pop them in there because we can talk about it. The Christmas present. That's what this is called. The Christmas present. Michelle O'Dowd, affectionately called Mickey O or Aunt Mickey by her friends and family, loved Christmas. It was her favorite time of the year. She took great care to choose the perfect gifts for the loved ones and especially the children in her life. So, you guys, this included great nieces, great nephews, grandchildren, like all of the children. She just really went all out. She decorated her home for the holidays, and she also took care of decorating her twin brother's business. She was employed there as well. Her brother employed her. So Aunt Mickey was 67 years old, single and living alone in a gated community in Jacksonville, Florida. Her only son had died 8 years earlier in 2003 at the age of 29. I tried to find out what had happened to him, but I couldn't find that anywhere. So it's only listed as sudden. So he suddenly died 8 years earlier in 2003. We're in 2011 in this story. At that time, she had moved to Jacksonville after his death, to be closer to family. By all accounts, she was loved by many and described by her twin brother as just one of those, and he uses 3 of these. This is a quote, just one of those sweet, sweet, sweet ladies. He called her his baby twin sister. That was his nickname for her, as she was born just minutes after him. So Michelle, of course, we can tell from the story, right, that she was lonely. She had lost her only child. And so she moved to Florida to be closer to family. So she had befriended a younger woman named Patty White. Now, Patty was 37, and she was described as a family friend to the entire family. At one point, she had been the live-in girlfriend of one of Patty's nephews, and they had had a 5-year relationship. So after that relationship broke off, Michelle helped Patty out by offering her a place to stay. And she would also help her financially by paying Patty to do tasks for her, tasks that she could easily do. But this tells about the kind of person that she is, right? She could do these herself. She's done them all of this time by herself. She didn't need to pay to do this, but she was generous enough to do. So Patty did things like house cleaning. She ran errands. She did grocery shopping. And she was paid to do that. She was also trusted with PIN numbers to debit cards so that she could go and do the shopping and run the errands. She was also trusted with the gate code into the gated community so that she could come and go because she was living there for a short time. After some time, about 3 months of that arrangement, Patty, not wanting to be a burden, she moved out of Michelle's place and she went back to stay with her own family in South Carolina. So now we have Michelle again. And Michelle, again, living alone and being lonely with just her little dog. She had rescued, actually, a little dog that she named Max. So Michelle's living there alone again. She's used to having the company. Patty leaves. The holiday season starts to roll around. Towards the end of November, Michelle asks Patty if she would like to come and spend some time there and spend the holidays with her family. And so Patty graciously accepts and she says, yeah, I'm gonna come and stay with you. So she shows up, from what I can figure out, she shows up sometime around the end of November. She isn't there very long, just a couple of days. On November 2nd, 2011, Michelle doesn't show up to work. And again, she works for her twin brother. So this worried her brother. His name is Philip, as this was not like Michelle at all. So he called her home several times, received no answer, and pretty soon his worry was turning to alarm. So he decides to drive to Michelle's home and check on her. Upon arriving to Michelle's house on a beautiful sunny Florida day, he sees her car parked in the drive, just like it normally is. Nothing seems off. It's a beautiful December day. But as he walks up the home, he is unsettled to see that the door is ajar. And Max, her beloved dog, ran out to greet him without Michelle. Cautiously, Philip steps inside and immediately knew that something was wrong. The usual cheery and tidy home was in complete disarray. So he walks through the home calling out his sister's name. As he's doing this, he's navigating overturned tables and chairs, all sorts of shit all over the floor, like the house was everywhere, right? Everywhere, a mess. So he becomes increasingly frightened at the state of the home. He walks the entire home over and over, and no sign of her. On his third pass through the living room, which was beautifully decorated and festive in anticipation of the upcoming holiday season, he sees something. He sees something that makes him just stop cold, something that he spots underneath the Christmas tree. He walks closer. He's sure that his eyes are playing tricks on him. He takes off his glasses, he wipes them, he puts them back on, and he looks again. Surrounded and buried in presents under the tree is a foot sticking out, just a foot, right? There's all of these presents, and there's something that he's sure is a foot that's sticking out under the presents.
I don't mean to laugh. I'm just
I know, but isn't that creepy? What would you do?
uh,
I don't know, but this is what he does. He runs over there and he grabs the foot, and it's icy cold. And so then he realizes, right? And in this, he just starts tossing aside all of the gifts. Yeah, right, Casey? I would freak out too.
yeah.
So he begins to toss the presents aside. And beneath the carefully chosen and meticulously wrapped pile of gifts meant for children, Michelle O'Dowd, his baby twin sister, lay dead. Her bloodied face covered with a terry cloth towel from her own home, and beside her an empty bottle of vodka. Okay, now think about that. Well, the vodka, I mean, it's obviously part of the staging, right? But is she just drinking? I mean, this is it. I don't understand the mind of these people. Like,
Yeah.
try to bury somebody under the presents and leave a vodka bottle like they did it themselves, It just
An accident.
it just doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
So the police were on the scene immediately. They removed Michelle's body as well as the wrapped gifts that were now covered in Michelle's blood. Police canvassed the neighborhood to see if anyone else had been robbed or if they had seen or heard anything the previous night. Some had said that they had heard screaming and banging, but they were reluctant to get involved because this was a safe, tight-knit community where residents didn't believe that something bad, especially murder, would happen here. And they were dead wrong. And we see that a lot too, right? Mm-hmm. People that see something but don't say something. In cases, it happens so often. It blows my mind. Autopsy results yield that Michelle had died of blunt force trauma to the head and strangulation. Nobody could figure out anybody that would want this sweet woman dead. See, her family did not know that she had invited Patty to come and stay. So they didn't know that she had company.
Oh, gotcha.
Either, yeah. So it was just assumed that this was a robbery gone bad by an unknown assailant or assailants. Until just a few days after the incident, family members began to receive alerts that Michelle's debit cards were being used. 2 ATMs and 2 $500 cash withdrawals. After reviewing footage from the ATM, the family saw someone they immediately recognized, an old family friend, Patty White. See, this is why I don't have friends. More withdrawals were being made, which allowed police to track Patty's every move. After hours of searching, police finally pulled over a car, and Patty was in the passenger seat, and Patty's mother was actually driving, and they were on their way out of town. So Patty is arrested. She immediately confesses to everything. Here's what I don't understand. Is the mother driving the car, right? She's not arrested. She's not a part of this. But I imagine if my daughter came to me and wanted me to start stopping at all these different ATMs.
There might be something going on, yeah.
I would be a little bit suspicious, right? I would be a lot suspicious. So I find that to be interesting. So Patty was arrested, and she immediately confessed to everything. She admits to killing Michelle, basically saying that her only motive to even accept Michelle's invitation was to go there and rob her. Free housing, food, and the generosity and kindness of a loyal friend was not enough for her. And I think that's so sad. Think about this woman that's lost her only child, that lives by herself, and is so generous and so kind and believes that she really has a friend. And this is what her friend does.
Yeah.
She beat and strangled Michelle and tried to conceal her crime by hiding the body or under the tree and ransacking the home. She then stole 2 debit cards. That's it. She took 2 debit cards that she knew the PIN number to, and she attempted to empty the accounts. So in 2013, Patty pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 41 to 45 years in prison. No one knows what caused Patty to snap that day except Patty, and I imagine that's something she will take to her own grave. Patty is incarcerated in Florida, where she will likely remain the rest of her life. Christmas will never be the same for Michelle's family, although they continue to keep her spirit alive and with them, especially throughout the holidays, Mickey's favorite time of year. And I have to just add to this because this is how I do. I have no doubt that Michelle and her son are right there with them, shining as bright as the star on the top of the tree and wishing them all a very Merry Christmas. So that makes me cry. Like, I feel so bad.
You're laughing.
I'm laughing because I'm crying.
That's the line, right?
But, like, if we think about that, you know, here's this woman, right? She's older. She's lonely. She's moved because her son has died. And she's, by all accounts, sweet times 3, right? She's obviously got, I don't think that she was super rich, but she obviously, you know, had enough money. She was a career lady. She had a 30-year career before she moved and went to work for her brother, which I suspect is just for her to give her something to do, really. But she was generous enough, you know, she was willing to share what she had. And then just
what I think is crazy is like when you sent me that picture and you didn't say nothing about it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, something is up. What's up with her foot? She sent me a picture of this woman where she didn't have shoes on. And I'm like, what's going on with her foot? There's something weird about her foot. And I had no idea that this was what she was going to be like, you know, what this was going to be her story until she told me. I was like, something didn't, I guess, rub me right about the foot. It was weird.
Yeah, she picked up on that right away. She's like, ooh, what's going on with the feet?
It's like,
that's all. It's a story.
This is weird. And when you tell me, I'm like, okay. It's like, just another thing. Yeah. Then there were just so many stories, sad ones. And I was like, wanting to dig into a bunch of them. And I'm like, man, it's crazy. But I was looking today and supposedly, like, you know, back in Victorian times, you know, they like to always around the holidays, around Christmas and stuff, tell ghost stories and ghostly stories and stuff like that. From what I read of it, like when they would move to the bigger towns like Victoria, England, and when the steam press came on, the press for printing papers and newspapers and stuff like that, when people would move to those big towns around the holidays, they would feel kind of stately. Hi, Facebook user. You have to give StreamYard permission to use your name on there, but hi back. But when they would move from like the little towns and villages and stuff into, you know, bigger cities where they were printing stuff around the holidays, they would have these ghost stories printed out because they wanted to be nostalgic and remind them from back the Christmases they had growing up hearing all the ghost stories. And so it would be a thing to where, you know, that the high-to-do Victorian women would want to have like these printouts of ghost stories on their like coffee tables, you know, during Christmas parties and stuff like that to feel kind of high and, you know, like, you know, little, but
Christmas ghost stories, huh?
Yeah, spooky stuff. So we're not too weird, are we?
So what's the one that has the ghost of, what is it? The ghost of Christmas past?
Yeah, past, present, and future. The Christmas.
Yes. That's a ghost story.
No, that was actually in the article.
Oh, was it?
And I'd pull the article up, but I am not touching my screen. I'm not doing anything because we had some really good pictures to go through with our stories and, you know, show them as we went along and everything. but we weren't able to do that because my screen went dark, and I'm not going to deal with that again. We did a practice run the other night, and it went perfect. So I don't know why I didn't do it tonight, but yeah, I wish you could have seen them. What I will do is I will add them on our Facebook page, the Forgotten Files. I'll put those pictures on there if anybody wants to see them later. I'll add them to there so that way you can at least, see the people, or you can, Google them and research them. But so what are you doing for Christmas this year?
What am I doing for Christmas?
Yeah, what are you doing for Christmas this year besides drinking wine with me right now?
Not a lot. Do you know what? I like my Christmases home. I really do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wake up and drink my coffee and probably lounge around in my pajamas all day. That's how I like Christmas. When I was younger, we had to get up. I was just talking to my son about this today. My son actually, as you know, gave me a surprise visit today, which was so nice. He drove 3.5 hours just to come see me and then to drive home. So he took me to lunch and we got to visit for a little bit. But we were talking about this. When I was younger, I remember we would get up really early, right? And we would have to open all the gifts. And then we had to go and get dressed. We had to go to church. And then we had to go and visit like all the people. And all we wanted to do was be home playing with our stuff, with our new stuff. Why are you laughing, Shannon?
Just Michael.
Oh. So anyway, because of that, I just like my Christmases quiet. I don't like to get up and run. I don't like to get up and do anything.
I don't do much of anything anyways, working it from home. So it'd be nice to go see family, but it's going to be so cold. But probably not as cold as it's going to be in Utah. But yeah, spending it with family. All right, guys.
Tabitha says that's what she's going to be doing too.
I saw that. Yeah, and he said home in your pajamas. I'm like, that's how I am every day. I work from home. I literally, I look pretty rough when I go to work. I'm telling you, or walk to work to my desk.
Build a fire, watch Christmas movies or whatever. Oh yeah, forgot about
earlier. You can hear it rattling around. All right, guys, share this out really quick.
And then choose a number.
Yes, between 1 and 100.
And pop it there in the comments.
And exactly, pop it in the comments. If someone happens to have the same number as someone else, it's going to be whoever picked it first, but it's to be the closest to this number without actually going over. And almost said it. Ooh, Lord, drink another glass. But we'll give it about 5 minutes, and then we'll go over all the numbers 1 through 37. And what are they going to win, Jen?
30-minute private session with me, yours truly. Okay, so Facebook user 17. Can you pop your name up there? I know who 57 is. That's Tabitha.
Yeah, so if you haven't given permission to StreamYard, make sure that it can at least put, before you type something, type your name first and then your sentence. That way we know who it is, Michael. That's not
Michael went over.
All righty. We'll give that a few minutes and we'll come back to it.
Still not sure who it is.
And then next week we're going to have a fun show too. It's going to be in our New Year's Eve edition. Well, it won't be New Year's Eve. Yeah, close to New Year's Eve. We're going to have Black Cauldron Paranormal on, Jennifer Channing. I call them Jennifer Channing because they're like one. Jennifer Steese and Channing Pratt. They're really good friends of mine. We investigate a lot together. We talk every day together. They're really amazing people. And I think they're going to be a lot of fun to sit and have some drinks and chit chat and just, talk about investigating and connecting with spirit because they are sensitive. So it'll be really nice to sit and have fun. Why does that still say drinking? Let me get that off of there. We'll just throw something else up there real quick.
Oh, we won't be able to get it off of there now.
Oh, Stephen O. That's a friend of mine, Stephen O. Uverdes. He's been my friend since I was, early teenager. Early teenager. He's a good friend.
So somebody else popped up there. What am I missing out on here? We're doing a drawing. So throw a number up between 1 and 100. And the drawing is for a 30-minute private session with me.
And whoever picks,
Only three
closest,
numbers. What's that telling me?
yeah, closest to the number that we've picked. With the numbers inside of this package here, inside of this present. We just determined it earlier, and so whoever gets the closest without going over will win that one. And we're going to give it about 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll open that up and see who's won. What am I missing here? I'm missing a name.
59.
Hey, Joe.
Who is 77? Can you pop your name in there? Please, it's not showing us your name. We're a hot mess tonight.
I know. So what I'm going to do while we're getting everybody to get their chance to get their numbers in, we want to talk a little bit about, let me put up the banner here, because this is a really important thing, because I know we were talking about, Christmas massacres and just horrible things that people do, and it wasn't, all in fun. Want to make sure that, we're being supportive of prevention and awareness for suicide and crisis, and, just people doing really drastic, crazy things, and hold on, I'm trying to get my list here. My mic's covering it up. I was just reading over statistics and everything and earlier, and the 7 of the most stressful life events, and this is why I'm single: marital separation, death of a loved one, divorce, moving, major illness, job loss, and marriage. Again, why I'm single. So it's like, but in the National Alliance on Mental Health Issues, they found that 64% of people living with mental illness report their conditions worsen this time of the year. And that's seen a lot, and I see a lot of people that get really down and sad and stuff during the holidays. And so we still got to be mindful of those people, kind of reach out to people that seem like they might be alone and just give them a little extra nudge of compassion and stuff, and check in on people, make sure they're okay. But also on that little ticker at the bottom of the screen that's scrolling across, 988 is a suicide and crisis helpline. 741-741. If you text that, that's a crisis text line. And all this is anonymous. And then 800-273-TALK, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So if you know anyone, remember those, write those down, save those, put them in your head. Because there's, I can guarantee you're going to come across someone who's going to need someone to reach out to them or could use those numbers. They do get used. It's not just something that you just think, you hear about it. People actually do call and contact these and get a lot of help and support. And it's non-biased, and people, are there for you. So, man.
Also, I don't know the number, but the domestic violence hotline is another one.
Yes. I meant to get that one. I'm not touching my screen.
No, my cell phone. Don't touch your screen.
Don't touch my screen. My screen went out earlier. If anybody that wasn't here, I couldn't see anything, and it totally messed up my vibe. Okay, domestic. Well,
Shannon was talking about those numbers, and don't be afraid to use them. I've used it's been some time, but I did have to use the domestic violence hotline one time, and I was terrified to do it. Right, I didn't want to do it, but it was a good thing because that led me to some other resources. And so that's the whole thing about the rest of this too, is don't stop. If you make one call and you're not happy with it, or you don't get the help that you're looking for, that you need, don't stop. There's so many resources out there. I mean, tons. Sometimes it takes some digging to find them. Find a friend, find somebody that can help you to find those, because they're there. And that's something, hi Kelly, that's something that I do, that some people don't know I do, is I do help people in those situations to find some resources. That being said, you also have to find those here's what I guess I'm trying to say. For me, because I do, it's something that I do. You can't call me right when you're in that crisis, looking for a bunch of resources, right? So keep these numbers. But if you know somebody, And if you know somebody that needs them, share them. Okay, Lauren, I got you down.
All right, anyone joining, throw your number in there, 1 to 100.
Thank
The
you,
one
Joe.
closest without going over. Should be closest without going over or the closest?
The closest without going over.
Okay, the closest without going over. We started with that. Good call. And then here in a second, we're going to unwrap this box, and the winning number is something that's in there, and I got a little creative with her. I'm kind of proud about the way I did that.
I got you down, Christina.
All righty. Anybody else?
Michael's got 22. Okay. What? We'll give another minute for numbers to pop in?
Yeah. Hi, Carla. Hi, Carla.
So yeah, it really is a tough time of year for people. I know, and Michael, and maybe, I don't know about you, Shannon, but anyone that does do readings, this is a time of year where people are very, very, they're very sad. They're missing their loved ones. It just can bring up all of those feelings. So first of all, I just want to say this, like, know that your loved ones are right there, and know that you can reach out and that you can talk to them yourself. And especially during these times, I just feel like that's important to say. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Denise. Denise, pick a number between 1 and 100. The closest one to the number we have inside of this gift box right here gets, without going over, gets a 30-minute session with Jennifer.
I don't drink wine during my sessions. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I don't normally drink wine. This is Peak Moscato. It's kind of good, but it's good, but it's really sweet.
Yeah, mine's really sweet too. I have Moscato too.
Oh, cheers. Hold on, cheers.
So Denise has 56.
All right.
Reach down there underneath that foot and pull out that frozen shell. Let's unwrap it.
All right. Right down on that foot. I'm not going to look at a foot ever the same after hearing that story. All right. Special delivery from Amazon.
You have it in a giant box.
It's the only empty one I have. Everyone else I used to wrap presents with. All right, we have an envelope. You sure you don't want to do the closest?
What? No, the closest without going over. Isn't that what we said?
I know, but I'm laughing for a reason.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Think about it.
Michael, isn't it? It's Michael.
The closest or the closest without going over?
No, we said the closest without going over.
All right.
It's Michael, isn't it?
The number. I make it look at ransom. 37. 37.
It is Michael.
See, that's what I was trying to tell you.
I'll be drinking wine for that one.
Michael, congratulations. You won.
You know how to get a hold of
You know why I think that's funny? Because y'all do readings together like all the time.
I know.
Can we do a second winner?
Yes, let's do a second winner.
Okay, I'm going to pull up a random number generator on my phone from 1 to 100. Okay, guys?
Not that I don't want to do a reading for Michael, and I will do a reading for Michael, but yes, we read together all the time. No, please, he's right. Someone else.
Let me put my glasses on because I'm just like, hold up. Okay.
So the next person would be, do you want me just to say the next person?
We do a random number generator?
Huh?
We do a random number generator who gets the closest?
Yeah, get another number. And we'll just use the numbers they already have.
From 1 to 100. Okay. So the closest, number 2, 89.
That is Carla Norris.
Carla, yay. There you go.
With 77. So, Carla, I will be sending you I'll be sending you a message. I won't be doing the readings until January. Because I'll be taking the rest of this month off, and then January, and it'll be good until the end of January. So we'll get it scheduled in that month, okay? And I'll be sending you a message and throw you out some available dates and times, and we'll get it scheduled. And I look forward to talking to you.
Yes, she's a sweetheart. I like her. You already know her, don't you?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, she's a very, very kind woman. I like her.
I do not. I mean, I know her name, but I don't. I've never chatted with her.
77 is a good number for her.
I've seen her around.
What's so funny is because I was thinking when we were talking about doing this, I was thinking 73 and she was thinking 37. And I'm like,
yeah, we just had the numbers backwards. Oh, I got to show you guys something just because we have a few minutes. I told you that my son came to see me today, but I want to show you one of the gifts that he got me.
And it's massive and I love it.
Isn't that?
Tell him what it is.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
Well, tell him what it is.
Oh, it's amethyst.
Well, I know, but a lot of people don't know. It's
raw,
not just amethyst.
It's raw. It's like raw amethyst. It's so pretty. I love it. It's so huge. He said he picked it out because it reminded him of like a big wand or something. It is pretty, Casey. Thank you.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right. So, man, we have an interesting lineup next month. We really, really do. Let me pull that calendar up real quick. I'm not going to give too much away, but let me go back to January. Yeah. We have our New Year's show with Black Cauldron Paranormal, Jennifer Steeves and Channing Pratt next week, and I can't wait for that. Those are like my soul sisters. And then the next Friday after that, or Thursday, I'm sorry, on the 5th, that's when we have a really interesting surprise guest. So, but the whole month is lined up with really, really good stuff. And then the month after that, so we can't wait to bring y'all interesting stuff. At least they're interesting to us, so that's all that matters, right? See, Lauren is like the all-knowing crystal goddess. She was like, we were roommates, and she's a crystals dealer. And I was like, I lived with my dealer. It was awesome.
I live with my dealer.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So he also gave me this one, Lauren, and I had never heard of this. He called this the Super 7. And so it's got, I can't remember all of them right now. Smoky quartz, amethyst, I think lepidolite. I can't remember. But I have to. Good night, Michael.
Good night, Michael.
Yeah, I have to do some research on that one, but I love this one too. Yeah, I'm the dealer.
Oh, goodness.
Can we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. We just want to come across and just do a couple Christmas stories real quick and give away some, now two readings. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so next week, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Absolutely. Spend time with your family, check on those that don't have people coming to see them. If you have people, elderly family, go check on them. If they can't make it, this holiday season, just check on everyone. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. It's going to be a fun show. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Good night.
Good night. Bye. Let me get that. Hold on. I keep forgetting there's like another step here. Yeah, I suck at technology, so I'm winging it. Bye. And